Retirement may seem like half a lifetime away, but if we're fortunate, we will all someday get there. We will have gray hairs, and we will hope that our younger selves has set us up for success. I'm Sian, and in this video, I'll cover the basics that you need to know about saving for retirement and the main types of accounts available to you, from 401ks and IRAs to traditional versus Roth designations. Let's get started. Let's talk about the two most common types of retirement accounts. One is the 401k, and the second is the IRA. 401ks and IRAs are both retirement accounts that have been designated by the US government to be ways that you can save money specified for use in retirement. And what you get in exchange is you get some tax advantage treatment. You get some forms of tax savings by using these accounts. But then the accounts themselves are restricted in certain ways. You are meant to use the money in these accounts for retirement. And if you were to try to use the money before reaching retirement age, there would be certain restrictions and penalties associated with it. The difference between 401ks and IRAs is where they come from, who administers them. 401ks are connected to an employer. 401ks are an account that you can only access if the company that you work for offers it as a plan. If you choose to use a 401k through your company, it is the plan that the company administers themselves. IRAs, on the other hand, are not connected to a company. It's something that you as an individual can set up on your own through whatever institution you choose. IRAs stand for, appropriately, individual retirement account. There's also certain technical differences about them. Both types of retirement accounts have contribution limits. There's a maximum amount that any individual is allowed to contribute to the account in any given calendar year. For 401ks, employees are allowed to contribute a maximum of $19,500 in 2021. If you are over the age of 50 or older, you're allowed to contribute an additional $6,500 as catch-up contributions. For IRAs in 2021, the contribution limit is $6,000. Each new year, the government dictates what the contribution limits are for that year, and contribution limits do rise over time depending on inflation. When it comes to how the two of these work, retirement accounts do not work like checking accounts or savings accounts. Once you've funded your retirement account and put money inside, the job is not done. Retirement accounts are really more like investing accounts. They just have the retirement characteristics, the tax advantages and savings. With a retirement account, it's really just acting like an envelope or like walls for where you put your money. But once you've put the money inside, you have this phase 2 that you need to do where you actually take that money and figure out what to invest it in. There are many options out there. The account itself does not decide them for you. Once you've put it into the account, that's when you choose the stocks, the bonds, the index funds, etc. that you want to invest in and direct it from there. IRAs are quite straightforward. You yourself can choose where you would like to set up your IRA, for example, through an institution like Vanguard or Fidelity. You would be able to establish the account, fund it directly yourself, and start investing from there. In the IRA, you also have the full range of investing options available to you, as long as it's whatever's available through the institution that you choose. You can pick typically individual stocks or bonds, index funds, ETFs, etc. 401ks, on the other hand, are a bit more complicated. You are very much constrained by the specifics of what your company's 401k plan is, and it varies significantly from company to company. Your company will have chosen an administrator through which they are offering the 401k plan, and that administrator will have varying characteristics about how much the plan costs, what your investing options are, and other details. Some potential cons of a 401k can be that you typically have a limited set of investing options available through the plan. Instead of having the full breadth of the full stock market and bond market available to you, there's probably a couple of pre-selected investing options available. 401k plans can also often have fees associated with them. The fees may be covered by your employer, or more typically, they are covered by you, the employee. These can sometimes almost feel like hidden fees because they are not very upfront or transparent with what they are. But if you reference your quarterly statements for your current 401k plan, you should be able to read through the transactions to find a fee that they may or may not have charged you. On the flip side, one of the benefits of the 401k is that oftentimes, but not always, employers may offer you some sort of match. Let's say your employer offers to match 50% of what you contribute up to 6% of your income. So that means that if you make $100,000 and 6% of your income is $6,000, when you contribute $6,000 to your 401k, your company will match $3,000. For every dollar that you contribute up to $6,000, they put in 50 cents. When evaluating your options, if you have a 401k through your employer and your employer offers some sort of a match, it is always optimal for you to take advantage first of whatever free money they're offering you. There's a lot of different structures for how your employers may offer some sort of match, and it's helpful to dig through and talk to your HR team to understand exactly how yours works. But whatever free money is available to you, take advantage of that first. Beyond those things, that's when you start to evaluate how good are the investment options that I'm offered through my 401k and what am I being charged on the fee front to take advantage of this plan. It may be beneficial for you to consider beyond the match to invest yourself in an IRA where you may have more control and flexibility and lower fees. Now let's also talk about the difference between traditional versus Roth. Traditional and Roth are simply two characteristics of the retirement accounts that you use. They describe the tax treatment of the account. So you actually have both traditional 401ks and Roth 401ks. And there are traditional IRAs and Roth IRAs. Traditional and Roth are two sides of the same coin of describing what exactly is the tax treatment of the account that you're using. Let's talk about what that tax treatment is. Remember that the reason to use a retirement account in the first place is that the government offers you some sort of tax advantage or tax savings in order to use this account. The exchange is that you're not allowed to touch the money in the accounts, or at least you are restricted, would be penalized for doing so before you reach retirement age. Let's set the baseline. For a regular non-retirement account, this is how your money would be taxed. The money that you earn today, that you earn via your income today and contribute into the investment account, gets taxed as income. The money that you earn in the investment account from your investments growing over time, from getting dividend payouts over time, those earnings also get taxed. But by the time you withdraw the money and you're ready to spend it, there's no more tax. You've already been taxed all the way through. That's how a regular non-retirement account works. For a traditional retirement account, the tax treatment is that you are not taxed on your income today. When the money in the account also earns and grows over time, those earnings, those dividend payouts, the capital gains, is also not taxed. But when it comes time that you reach retirement, you're ready to withdraw the money and spend it, then it is taxed as normal income. A Roth account, on the other hand, is flipped. With a Roth account, you are taxed today the same way that you would be for a normal, regular, non-retirement account. But the earnings in your investment account are not taxed. Any dividends, any capital gains in there, same way with a traditional account, the earnings are not taxed. And by the time you reach retirement age and you're ready to withdraw the money to spend, you are not taxed either. you have already been taxed at the beginning. And so you'll see that with both traditional and Roth, the benefits are that you don't get taxed on that middle portion. The earnings that your investments make from growing over time, from getting that capital gains and the dividends payout, that money is not taxed. And then the difference is really, do you get taxed today and save later, or do you save today and get taxed later? So which should you choose? As a simplistic rule of thumb, if you are young, early in your career, and anticipate a lot of career growth and income growth ahead of you, it probably makes sense to use a Roth account. On the flip side, if you are farther into your career and you're in your peak earning years, it probably makes more sense to go with traditional. That being said, it's very beneficial by the time you reach retirement to have a diversification of assets in both types of accounts. One of the challenges with figuring out what's truly the optimal strategy here is that we don't know what the tax code will be decades into the future by the time that you retire. And in that sense, it can be very beneficial and offer you the flexibility that you need if you have accounts by the time you retired in a combination of both Roth accounts and traditional accounts. That covers the basics of what you need to know to get started with saving for your retirement and the accounts that you can use. I hope this was helpful. Feel free to leave a comment below if you have any questions that I can try to help with. For more videos like this about how to make the most of your money, be sure to subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.